Dink. Here we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Line. I just wanted to show you a video of me drawing and coloring Ogre Magi from DOTA2. This is my piece of fan art for it. What you're looking at on the screen right now, this is some stuff that I had already done uh, on my tablet, Samsung Galaxy One with Sketchbook Draw and Paint app. But I didn't like the way it was looking, or not that I didn't like the way it was looking, I just wanted to polish it up more uh, in Photoshop on my computer at home. So here right now at this stage, I'm just trying to get the right brush so it sort of looks like the one I was using on the tablet, because the way the one on the tablet works in comparison to the one on the computer, it's has a little bit more of like a harsher line than what Photoshop has, and also it could have just been the sensitivity of how the pen that comes with the Samsung Galaxy Note works, and also from eraser marks, etc. So whatever it is, I'm just trying to keep it the same. So now I'm drawing and I'm erasing a lot of stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a little intro because I felt, if you're watching something and it looks like it's already drawn, then what exactly am I drawing? So yeah, so I'm editing everything there. So I'm going in, editing the cowl that's on Ogre Magi's head, adding some like little texture items in there. Yeah, fixing the fingers, the wrinkles in the skin there, the nails, editing the lines, getting rid of any extra lines that aren't needed, fixing the way the rope looks on the leather of his belt. Going into his face, getting rid of some shading that was in there that wasn't needed. I figured I'll do the shading at the coloring shading level, part of the process. Sometimes I forget, when I go and add shading in black ink, when I'm gonna have to do that stuff later on with, actual colors and lighting and shading. So here I'm adding a little extension to the dragon bat thing. Adding some extra lines to the skin folds. Just a moment ago I was adding a little bump to his head. There's a little bump action. You'll see later on in the video that I didn't really get enough emphasis on that bump. So probably looks better here than it does later on when it's colored. So here I'm just working on the flames that's coming out of the dragon fish head club that he's holding on to. Now we're back to just going around fixing all the lines everywhere again. Looking at the way that the things fold. Add a little lip texture. Alright, so now we're getting to the color stage. So yes, it was already colored on the tablet, or, somewhat colored. Now I'm blocking out all of the color. I'm putting it into like a mask. So if you can see on the bottom right, there's a little black and white thing on top of the folder. That's the mask, and so I'm trying to mask it all out. I put green in the background and red inside the folder that I'm masking. So if any red is showing outside of the lines, then that means I didn't mask it out properly. So I'm using a combination of using the brush tool with black to black out all of the areas, and then all the massive amounts of areas I take the lasso tool and then I just fill it with black. This is not the normal way I would be masking. Usually I would do a whole thing of color, whole mask first, and then I would start coloring. So I'm sort of going backwards. So like all the coloring stuff that I had done on the train, mobile on the tablet. I'm going back and I'm like repainting over it, just because I didn't really have any light source in mind when I was doing this, and so now I decided to make the light source. The majority of it, of course, is going to come from the Dragon Fish Head Club thing, and then just a little ambient light from who knows where, maybe the moon or something. Hopefully I did a better job on this piece than I did on my Lich piece, which was the previous video. Yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think of my coloring skills. It's, I'm sure there's a lot better colorists out there than myself, but, you know, gotta start somewhere, right? It's funny, I think I've colored in a lot of this stuff a gazillion times. Gazillion, that's too much. I colored it in like 3 or 4 times, like on that club, and then shaded it like 3 or 4 times, and it's funny, you know, you keep changing and changing and changing it, trying to get it just right. So here I am trying to make the fire color. Yeah, I was trying to put red in there. I'm not sure what colors to use for making fire. I know, you know, if you're doing like a comic, you could use red or whatever. I ended up putting it in there, and then I ended up making it into like a blended multiply layer or something like that. I don't even know if it even showed up, just because of um, the value of it. So it might have been too bright, so maybe it didn't even show up at all. I totally forgot to go back in there and turn it back on after all the work I did. But you'll see what the end result looks like, so we'll keep watching. So now I'm highlighting the character using the lasso tool to only, you know, try to use gradients on certain areas. And I apologize if this saying like lasso tool and gradients and all that stuff doesn't make sense to some of you people that don't use Photoshop. But for those with Photoshop info, you know, that's what I was doing. I also use a lot of just regular brush, like a gradient brush. Is that even the right thing to say, gradient brush? Is it a blurry brush, not sharp brush? Oh, soft brush, that's what you would say. So for the most part, I was trying to use like a soft brush to get these like gradients in there of color. So now I'm putting some lighting on the chest. And now I'm changing the color of the chest in the blue area and in the pink, because I realized that the value needed to be darker. I started off with light, and the issue is that if it's light in Photoshop, if the light color is above 50%, then of course it sort of means, well, either A, you've got light shining on something, or that the color itself is light. At least in my mind, I feel like it, has to be below 50% to be just a color on something, and then, light, of course, is making it brighter. But who knows, maybe I'm thinking about it all wrong, and I really have to do more color work, but I'm doing the best I can. So here I'm shading. I think this is the first shade, using a dark blue with a transparency of 79 or 73. I can't really tell. I'm watching this time-lapse video over with you right now as it's doing it, so this way I'm giving you a little narrative. Yeah, over and over I knock down the lighting and then I put it back, trying to get it just right. At this point right now I'm lassoing his face and I'm putting this yellow in. I had remembered that Ogre Magi had like this yellow thing to his face, and now I'm adding in the color of the teeth. You'll also notice that the leather that's on in the cowl and the scarf thing, I forgot to put a darker leather color in there. And I think at some point in here I'll fix the color. You may have just seen me alt-tab as well. That was my friend Dave in the background. He was in a Draw and Chat hangout with me while I was drawing and coloring. Alright, so here I am coloring in the cowl. And then I'm going to go do the neck scarf thing that he wears. And then his bicep covering. I don't know what that's for, but he has it. And then here I am coloring in the belt. And then I decided I'll give it like a string sort of thing, or a lighter color leather, who knows. Now I'm coloring in the tooth of whatever it is that they got it from. And back to the face, add a little red to that gem thing that's on his hat. There's Dave again, and now we're back to lighting the belt. And then I'm erasing the lighting because I just figured, you know what? The further the light is from the items, the less amount of light reflecting should be on there. Here I'm like, you'll see me going through all these layers. I'm trying to figure out how that line is in there, and I finally found it, so I got rid of it. Here I'm adding more highlights to the face, and then I'm going to delete all of it because I realize it's still too much, and then I'm having a hard time figuring out how to put it back because I just went through too many steps to undo. So I'm putting the light back, and then I take it away, put the light back. I keep stepping away from the computer because I want to see how the light looks, to make sure it's just right. Here I put some light in the eye and took some light out to give it some shade from the upper eyelid. Here I'm coloring the fingernails. Here I'm adding extra shadow. Yeah, because the flame light is so powerful that I want to make sure that the shading is right too. Got to be casting shadows as well as having light. Adding more shading to the hand, removing more lights. There's Dave again. Wow, he gets 3 cameo appearances in my video. That's cool. So here, stepping away from the piece again, just to see how the light looks. Then I thought maybe I should give some shadow to the hair area, but then I realized, no, yeah, I'll just leave it. More lighting, and I realized that the color on the chest and the pink area needs to be fixed, so I fixed that. Added more lighting again to the cloth on his neck. Now I'm playing around with the background. Trying to think of what's a good background color. I didn't do any background like drawing of like trees or anything like that, so trying to play around with textures of smoke and stuff. Signing it. Now I'll add some smoke, light smoke. Then I'm going to end up changing the transparency of that layer. So we don't want to make it too overwhelming or like that. Gotta make sure that our character is the most important part of the piece. This is the end result. So please let me know if you have any comments or critiques or any requests for another piece of artwork in the future. And please subscribe, because I'll let you know what's new in the future that I make. And if you want to see the final piece and other artwork I've made, head to linedetail.com. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you watching. Till next time, this is Lion.